Breaking news: the White House and Netanyahu are experiencing unprecedented tensions as Biden faces political consequences for his support of Israel. Joe Biden, unlike any previous American president, kept Israel in his corner in the terrible days following the October 7 Hamas attacks. But now, over 2 months after Israel's relentless bombardment of Gaza has killed thousands of innocent people, the White House and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's administration are at an all-time high in terms of war tensions. For instance, during an off-camera political event this week, Biden accused Israel of conducting indiscriminate bombing. His incredibly direct speech usually provokes a backlash from Israeli officials, who claim they aim to protect civilians but accuse Hamas of utilizing innocent Palestinians as a shield. Recent U.S. intelligence assessments reveal that nearly half of Israel's air-to-ground munitions used in Gaza have been unguided so-called dumb bombs, according to an exclusive CNN report on Thursday. This has exacerbated diplomatic tensions. Victims spoke to CNN about the horrors of the war while receiving a unique tour of a field hospital in southern Gaza. The question of whether the war in Gaza will further isolate Israel internationally has already been answered. The next major geopolitical concern is not related to that. It's about whether the operation will have the unintended consequence of causing the U.S. to lose friends and potentially jeopardize broader national security objectives due to the strong backing it will receive from the White House. Meanwhile, Biden is facing mounting domestic pressure for his support of Israel, and questions about his ability to energize his coalition in time for the 2024 election have been cast in doubt by the relentless toll on Palestinians. Jake Sullivan, Joe Biden's national security advisor, will meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other important Israeli officials on Thursday amidst this delicate backdrop. Following the president's stinging criticisms of the right-wing Israeli coalition, Sullivan will discuss the influx of aid into Gaza as well as the next phase of the military campaign, according to John Kirby, a spokesperson for the National Security Council. When meeting with Israeli officials, Biden's senior White House advisor on foreign policy will also address efforts to be more surgical and more precise and to reduce harm to civilians. "We intend to achieve that. And the Israelis claim it is their goal," Kirby added. "The important thing is the outcome, though." Sullivan's visit gives the impression that Washington thinks Israel disregarded Secretary of State Antony Blinken's warnings that its ongoing operations in Gaza should be more cautious in protecting civilians than the first phase of the operation, which occurred after the truce earlier this month. In contrast to Biden's October visit to Israel, during which he expressed empathy for the Israeli people's grief, astonishment, and all-consuming rage, the optics surrounding Sullivan's trip will be different. However, he cautioned Israel against repeating the errors committed by the U.S. in the aftermath of the September 11 attacks. While returning home, he spoke to reporters and warned that the international community would hold Israel to a high standard if it failed to alleviate the suffering of the Palestinians in Gaza. The Gaza Ministry of Health, which is run by Hamas, reported that 18,412 Palestinians had been killed as of Tuesday. CNN is unable to confirm that figure on its own. The horrific attacks by Hamas, which included the use of rape as a weapon of war, killed around 1,200 Israelis. Biden's political vulnerability on the matter was on full display during two remarkable moments on Tuesday, which exposed his waning tolerance for Israel. President Trump, during the private fundraiser, blamed indiscriminate bombing that takes place for Israel's dwindling global support. "We must ensure that Bibi Netanyahu knows that he must take action," Biden continued, continuing his tradition of shocking candor at such occasions. He further claimed that the right-wing coalition government in Israel was making it very difficult. The fate of Gaza in the aftermath of the war and the long-term goal of a Palestinian state are two topics on which the two administrations are clearly diverging. There has been a horrific loss of life due to the war. However, it has also set off unanticipated political waves in America. It revealed hypocrisy regarding anti-Semitism and sparked a new wave of anti-Semitism, even among certain progressives and liberal Ivy League colleges in the United States. Among Arab American voters, who are vital to Democrats in a swing state like Michigan, where Biden's support is dwindling, there has been outrage over the slaughter in Gaza, and now, due to its backing of Israel, Washington's worldwide leadership might take a knock on Tuesday. In a highly symbolic move, the United States' closest allies, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, decided to go against Washington's wishes and call for an immediate end to the fighting in Gaza. The three countries' prime ministers made it clear that ending Hamas's rule cannot come at the expense of innocent Palestinian lives. A rare split in the Five Eyes alliance, which includes the United Kingdom and the United States, has occurred as a result of this issue. After abstaining on a UN Security Council resolution demanding a ceasefire, which the US vetoed, even the United Kingdom, which usually takes the side of the United States in foreign policy, is now trying to hedge its bets. The White House appears to have taken notice of the dramatic diplomatic maneuvering. Also important is the fact that yesterday the president mirrored the reality of world opinion. Israel continues to have our full backing. However, we have had reservations, Kirby stated. Even though we recognize that Hamas initiated and is carrying out this military campaign, we have nonetheless voiced our concerns about its prosecution. How much, though, will the mounting pressure from both inside and outside the country cause Biden to alter his stance toward Israel? It would be very surprising if the president did anything more than criticize Netanyahu rhetorically. Despite his growing frustration, he is deeply pro-Israel. Officials informed CNN that the administration does not intend to impose conditions on a $14 billion aid package to Israel at this time. However, there are increasing demands from Democratic lawmakers and human rights groups for the U.S. to cease supplying weapons to Israel unless it takes further measures to safeguard civilians in Gaza, and with the current state of affairs, that aid measure, ensnared in heated disputes between the White House and extreme right-wing Republicans, has no chance of passing Congress. Furthermore, Israel considers itself to be fighting for the very existence of the Jewish people, not merely for its own sake. It has sent a message about its approach to security with the ferocity of its operation in Gaza. Nobody outside of this situation, including Biden, seems to be able to stop it even if they wanted to. However, the political price he must pay will only go up.